The NXT Universe witnessed an unforgettable clash of power, endurance, and pride last night as Ricky Saints defended his NXT Championship against Trick Williams in one of the most grueling title bouts in recent memory. The air inside the Capitol Wrestling Center was electric, with fans on their feet from bell to bell as both superstars pushed their bodies and spirits beyond all limits. From the moment the opening bell rang, the bout was less of a contest and more of a war of attrition, one that tested not only technical wrestling ability but also heart, strategy, and the will to survive. The match had been weeks in the making. After several heated confrontations and tag team clashes, Trick Williams finally earned the right to challenge the reigning champion, Ricky Saints, a man who has dominated NXT's upper card for months with his relentless aggression and no-nonsense attitude. Saints, known for his calculated brutality and sharp ring IQ, came into the match with one clear goal: to prove that his reign was no accident. Williams, on the other hand, was chasing both glory and respect. Once known primarily as Carmelo Hayes' charismatic ally, Trick has worked tirelessly to build his identity as a singles competitor. His recent victories over big names in NXT made him the people's choice, and as he walked to the ring, chants of "Whoop that Trick" filled the arena, but Ricky Saints, the self-proclaimed architect of pain, stood unshaken, glaring at his challenger with the cold focus of a man who sees every opponent as another obstacle to erase. The opening minutes were a showcase of contrasting styles. Trick Williams relied on his explosive athleticism, connecting early with quick jabs, a spinning heel kick, and a powerful shoulder tackle that sent the champion to the outside. The crowd roared as Williams shouted, "It's Trick time." But Saints was not rattled. He slowed the pace, rolling back into the ring to control the tempo. With precision takedowns and targeted strikes to Trick's left knee, the champion quickly turned momentum in his favor. The sound of Saints' forearms echoed through the arena as he dissected his opponent, methodically wearing him down. A particularly brutal moment came around the 8-minute mark when Saints slammed Williams into the steel ring steps, following up with a vicious dragon screw leg whip that left Trick writhing in pain. The referee checked on the challenger multiple times, but Williams refused to quit, firing himself up with the crowd's energy. By the halfway point, both men were showing visible signs of exhaustion. Saints continued to punish the leg, using submissions like the single-leg Boston Crab and a modified figure 4, each time wrenching harder as Williams fought to reach the ropes. The pain was evident, but Trick's resilience was equally remarkable. In a sudden burst of adrenaline, Williams countered a clothesline with a pop-up spinebuster that nearly cracked the mat in half. The audience exploded as both competitors lay motionless for several seconds before stirring. The energy in the building shifted when Williams began to mount a comeback, connecting with a flying clothesline, a high back body drop, and his trademark springboard uppercut. Each move drew massive cheers, and for a moment, it looked like the challenger was on the verge of victory. Around the 18-minute mark, Trick went for his finishing move, the trick shot, a jumping side kick. But Saints dodged it at the last second and countered with a devastating German suplex into the turnbuckle. The impact drew a gasp from the crowd as Williams clutched his neck in agony. Sensing the end, Saints locked in his signature hold, the Saints Prayer, a combination of a sleeper hold and body scissors. Designed to drain every ounce of air from his opponent. The crowd rallied behind Trick, chanting his name as he refused to tap. In a dramatic surge of strength, he powered to his feet with Saints on his back, slamming the champion into the corner to break free. The arena erupted. Trick had life again. But Saints, always thinking 2 steps ahead, caught Williams off guard with a perfectly timed enziguri followed by a thunderous sit-out powerbomb. He covered for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. The crowd exploded once again. As the match entered its final minutes, both men exchanged heavy strikes in the center of the ring, forearms, elbows, and kicks flying in every direction. The audience was split, half chanting for Saints, half for Trick. Williams connected with a huge running knee, sending Saints reeling. He then hoisted the champion up for a potential suplex, but his injured leg gave out mid-lift. Saints capitalized immediately, delivering a spinning back elbow that knocked the challenger to the mat. In a display of sheer dominance, Ricky Saints lifted Trick Williams onto his shoulders and executed the Divine Reckoning, a devastating modified GTS, before collapsing into the pin. The bell rang. The war was over. Ricky Saints was still the NXT champion. As the referee handed Saints his championship, the champion could barely stand. His face was a mix of exhaustion and vindication. The crowd, though divided, gave both men a standing ovation. Trick Williams sat in the corner, clutching his leg but nodding in respect toward Saints. In a rare show of sportsmanship, Ricky Saints looked back, nodded once, and raised his title high as the camera zoomed in on his battered face. The commentary team summed it up perfectly: this was less about victory and more about survival. Backstage footage later showed medical staff checking on both superstars. Saints was seen icing his shoulder, while Trick Williams received treatment on his knee, both men paying the price for one of NXT's most physically demanding main events of the year. With this victory, Ricky Saints extends his reign past the 200-day mark, solidifying his status as one of the most dominant NXT champions in recent years. Rumors are already swirling about who might be next to step up. Names like Ilya Dragunov, Braun Breaker, and Nathan Frazer are being mentioned as potential contenders. However, Saints himself seems unfazed by the speculation. In a brief backstage interview, he said, "Greater than, every challenger falls. Every pretender breaks. I don't just defend this title, I define it." The chilling confidence of that statement sent a clear message across the NXT locker room: Ricky Saints isn't done yet. Despite the loss, Trick Williams' performance earned him immense respect. Analysts praised his growth, noting that this version of Trick was more focused, more resilient, and far more dangerous than ever before. In his post-match comments, Trick said, "Greater than, Ricky Saints was the better man tonight, no doubt. But this isn't over. I'll be back, stronger, smarter, and hungrier." Fans flooded social media with support, turning #TrickTime into a trending hashtag worldwide. Many believe this match might be the turning point in his career, the moment when Trick Williams officially transitioned from promising talent to main event star. Wrestling analysts praised the storytelling and pacing of the bout, calling it a masterclass in modern NXT psychology. The way Saints targeted the leg throughout the match showed ring awareness, while Trick's never-say-die attitude added emotional weight. Veteran commentator Corey Graves tweeted, "Greater than, this is why I love NXT. 2 stars, 1 ring, 0 shortcuts." Ricky Saints and Trick Williams just tore the house down. Even several main roster WWE superstars chimed in, congratulating both men for setting a new standard for in-ring performance. While titles may change hands over time, certain matches transcend the result. They become defining moments. This clash between Ricky Saints and Trick Williams was exactly that. It was a story of pain and persistence, of strategy versus spirit. For Ricky Saints, it was validation, proof that his reign isn't just built on victories, but on endurance. For Trick Williams, it was a painful but powerful lesson, the kind of match that forges future champions. As the show went off the air, the lasting image of the night was Ricky Saints standing tall on the turnbuckle, NXT Championship held high, sweat and blood mixing under the bright lights. A symbol of triumph earned the hard way. The NXT landscape has shifted once again. Ricky Saints remains the man to beat, but his battle scars from this war tell the story of a champion constantly tested. Trick Williams walks away defeated, but far from diminished. A warrior who has proven he belongs among the elite.